It's that time again for another not-so-normal gaming podcast, featuring your hosts, MrTechnoSqueek.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Nostalgic Dan 1.
Everything I feel is in this sword. Good.
Come on!
And Quick Freeze 4.
Don't worry. I'll handle the bad guys.
This is a podcast you want to listen to, but first, you gotta press start. And welcome back to another episode of the Press Start Podcast. This is episode 28, and as you guys just heard, that was our new, awesome, super duper, wonderful new intro brought to you by and made by Tim, aka Jumble Junkie. What do you guys think about that new intro?
It's awesome. I can't get enough.
Yeah.
No, it really is awesome. You did a great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we just want to take a moment to thank Tim Jumble Junkie for making that new intro for us, because it really does sound awesome.
Yeah.
And we'd like to continue by saying we are brought to you by another awesome co-host, Mr. TechnoSqueek. How are you, Techno?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Every episode.
Every episode is... We should just, copyright that.
One word. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I think if it's...
And explosions.
I think it's too common of a word, but...
Okay.
But our other co-host, Mr. Nostalgic Dan 1, how are you, Dan?
Epically awesome. How about that?
There you go. See, you didn't even say fantastic.
That was hard to not say that.
And tonight we thought we would talk about PC gaming, our memories of PC games, and to help us with that, back for the third time on the Press Start Podcast, Mr. DoDon, or DonDonRaiden.
DoDon.
Dude.
Get it right! How's it going, guys?
We're doing awesome.
Doing good.
Good deal. Big props to Tim Jumble Junkie. That intro does sound really good.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. One day I just asked him, could you possibly just throw something again? And I thought he was going to say no. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, man, he's a pretty cool cat like that.
But why don't you tell us what you do, Mr. DonDonRaiden, what you have been doing if people have not been following you?
All right, same thing as always. I'm still doing the podcast scene. I actually started up a new PC gaming podcast with my pal Apex Ultima on YouTube, and that's basically what we do. We just talk about PC games, a lot of the newer games, which is coming out on all systems because everything's multi-platform anymore. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You can find us over at the usual places, Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, and it's called the Binary Piecast.
What kind of pie do you serve?
Basically, we try to do something different every episode, but as long as we have bacon pie, we are golden.
Bacon.
It's all about bacon pie. I don't know what it is about those crazy Brits, but they're obsessed with bacon. So every time I get in a chat conversation with this guy, the first thing he says is bacon.
Bacon.
I like bacon.
Bacon's
I do
awesome.
too, and it's really good on pie.
I think there's actually somewhere I've seen there's a bacon flavored soda.
Really?
It's an actual soda drink, artificial drink that's bacon flavored.
I'm in love
already. As long as they have a diet variant. I gotta have the diet.
A diet bacon soda.
That makes sense.
That's right, man. I can't have the sugar. I gotta have the you gotta have the fake stuff. I'm borderline diabetic.
Okay. All right. As we mentioned, we've already... Actually, what are we going to say? I was going to say. What are we going to talk about, you guys?
Our most memorable PC gaming experiences. Woo!
PC gaming experience.
Woo! Yay!
But as our guest, why don't you go first and tell us about your PC gaming experience?
All right, can do. Growing up, I was actually, obviously, I grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, so as well as with the consoles, the NES, Genesis, and all that good stuff. I was big into PC gaming as well, but I kind of grew up more around the Blizzard age, so mid-90s, give it 94, 96. It really happened when Diablo 1 very first came out. I just absolutely fell in love with that genre, the whole action RPG, hack and slash, dungeon crawler scene. And I just loved everything about those. And then I also, I kind of expanded out in the rest of the Blizzard universe when, Warcraft 2 and then the Battle.net version came out, and then played StarCraft and all that. But that's definitely the most memorable, because after that I kind of branched out and went into more consoles when the Dreamcast and all that came out. But definitely around the Blizzard games in the mid-90s.
Nice.
I used to play the Sims games a lot, especially in high school. My games were the Sims and mostly NES and Super NES emulators. I know those aren't really like PC games, but I use the PC a lot for those.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah,
the different
definitely.
emulators.
You could do a lot of cool stuff too with the emulators and hacks and all that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were
Most definitely.
like, I know they're not PC games, but like they were just fantastic. Like, you were able to play all the NES games and all the Super Nintendo games on your PC, and I consider that PC gaming back in the day. That was like, I would say about maybe 12, 15 years ago.
No, most definitely. I mean, it's a gaming experience that was on a different, platform. And the greatest thing about emulation on PCs is the save feature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Being able to play these old, Genesis and, going even older with, like, the Turbo Graphics and NES and stuff like that. And being able to actually save your game, that's legit.
Well, it's kind of like what you could do now on the 3DS. You really can't save, but it kind of like, it pauses the game for you if you want to like close it. It's basically the same thing, but yeah, you couldn't do that back in the day on the NES.
No, you could just be like save state, save state. Save
Yeah.
state.
But just like you, I got into Warcraft. I got into Warcraft 2. Then I got into like StarCraft, stuff like that. And eventually I started playing the MMOs, starting with City of Heroes, City of Villains, and going on from there. I played Champions Online, I played World of Warcraft. I did play some Diablo, not really my type of game.
Oh, man.
I just couldn't get into the Diablo series. My brother, though, loves Diablo, and I'm pretty sure he's already, like, reserved Diablo 3 if you are able to, but...
Yeah, you can.
Okay, yeah, then he probably already has a reserve, but, that's basically my major experience, is just the emulators and maybe, like, the MMOs, I guess.
I gotta ask though, like, what really drew you into the Sims games? Because I just never could get into simulation type games.
Well, you know what it was? Okay, when I was in high school, I went to, like, a technical high school, and, our shop, as they called it back then, was computer-aided drafting. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I do now in, like a real-life career. But, we had, like, a computer lab, and during school, they gave you, like, maybe a 20-minute break, kind of like a recess, but
Right.
For high school. And basically, we just played computer games, and that's where I played the NES emulators and stuff like that, and then people would bring in various games, and then, all the craze, someone brought in, like, The Sims, and we're like, okay, cool, you can make a house, and, you can invite people over and stuff, and all the computers were, like, networked, so, I could go to my friend's house even, when he's sitting right next to me on all the computers, so I was like, so that's basically how I got into, like, The Sims. I know it's not, like, the greatest game, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. Like, I was just going to say, it's funny you mentioned that, because in my high school, I totally remember, there was, like, this class, like, I don't know what the class was, but it was a huge, like, computer lab. It looked really weird when you went in there. There was, like, fiber optic cables everywhere, and it's like, everything's interlinked. But they were always playing SimCity, and it was actually a class kind of based around SimCity, because it was, like, a whole idea of having to create a city and have it sustained for a certain amount of time. Because if you play the SimCity games, they're really in-depth, and it's really hard to, like, keep a city going for so long. You have to manage pretty much everything about the city. So that was pretty much their, kind of assignment, is to create a city and have it sustained for the longest possible time. So they're always using SimCity when I walked in there. It was really interesting.
Dude, that's crazy, because I remember when I was growing up in school, we played shit like Nibbles and Gorillas and stuff like that. The old
yes.
the old MS-DOS programs.
Reader Rabbit.
Are you serious?
Reader Rabbit. Oh my god.
That was one of my experiences. I
This
totally
is-
remember reading around.
This is like elementary school programs. I remember these.
When we were in high school, man, we weren't really allowed to bring in stuff, but when we could, we'd bring in like, Doom and Quake and
Yeah.
all those arena-based first-person shooters and stuff. That's kind of what we had, and then we got online and did the RuneScape thing.
I think we Duke Nukem 3D was another one too.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely a good one.
I think we had to hide that one because that's the one where you actually can tip the strippers and they couldn't really play that one all that much. But no. But dude, but for The Sims though, the best thing to do in The Sims though, and I know this is like immature or whatever, but this was just hilarious to do. If you just take your dude, right, and you build this small room, 3 walls.
And around him, yeah. Oh my god, I did that too. No joke, I would always do that.
You put
Watch
like
him died to death.
You put like a single toilet in there, and you would have to go there because to go to the bathroom. And then you close the wall, delete the toilet, and then you put the time on like super speedy and just let them.
God. That's so
Dude,
funny.
you are a cruel individual.
I did that
I did
too.
that too.
I was like 16, 17. I didn't give a shit. It was computer games.
It's so
Right,
hilarious. They'd be like wetting themselves and they'd be like just
Yeah,
dying
yeah.
to get out. It's so funny.
Right, and they die, and they have the flies around them.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've literally never played a Sims game before.
Oh man.
There's no way I can get into them now, but back in the day, I played a lot of those, and
Right.
Grand Theft Auto was another one that kind of went around my shop too. The Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, I believe. The
The
bird,
old school top-down.
the bird's eye view ones.
Right.
So those are everyone did the tank code. And got the thing away.
True.
But what do you play now for PC games? Because
Well, what was Techno's most memorable game?
Back in the day at school or preschool.
preschool.
Yeah,
Wow.
preschool. Okay,
Oh, way back.
we had computers.
Damn, we had crayons.
I know, we did.
And a couple-
no,
and a
see,
couple
we
Apple
didn't. Like, when we were in class, we wouldn't be able to go to the computer lab because it was for the older people, the older kids. And, like, my mom worked there for a few years, and then I would get out of school or whatever, and she would still be working, and she'd let me play on the computer. And I remember I was playing on floppy Donkey Kong.
Nice.
And then, like, we had an old-ass computer at home, and on floppy, we had Wheel of Fortune and Frogger.
Frogger was cool.
Was it like an old IBM or like an old Apple II or anything like that?
It was IBM, I think.
Gotcha. God, you gotta love those old floppy disks, man. Those
Yeah.
things are ridiculous. Used to smack the hell out of people with them. Like throwing frisbees back and forth.
You get like 10 of them
Yeah,
for
yeah.
one game.
Oh, the good dude. I know, right?
You should do that, bring that back. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim on floppy with like
On
500
Oh my God.
floppies.
I remember used to have that big like floppy disk, roll-a-disc thing where you
Oh,
could
yeah.
pull them all out and
Yeah.
you go through and label each of them. You'd be able to put like, 10 nude pictures on one floppy disk and you'd have to go on the disc too. The good old days.
Oh,
Yeah, and, like, whenever, in, like, kindergarten and first grade, we played, went to computer lab and played Oregon Trail.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Loved
yeah.
it.
I don't care how many times you play Oregon Trail, you never get past the damn river.
I've beaten it a couple of times, but I still have it too. It's for old PC, but Oregon Trail 2. I played it not too long ago. I
I've
beat it a
died.
couple of times.
I've always
Yeah,
died in the river.
Yeah, but it's funny because the last time I went back to play it, like after a long time, I was the first to die, like, right away. Like, I died of, like, internal bleeding or something because I got mauled by some wild animals. Like, oh, go figure.
Wow.
It's intense.
I gotta say, that's another game I never really played. I know my wife had talked about playing it before, but I didn't really know much about it. I mean, I knew it existed, but until recently, Oregon Trails like made a huge comeback with like all the mobile phone games.
Oh
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
I think it's on like
the Wii.
yeah, I
There's
think
like
it's
a
on
Wii.
like Facebook and stuff too.
Yeah,
now.
there is a Facebook one now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And I cannot remember what it's called for the life of me, but I remember there used to be, I think it was made by Sierra, it was an old top-down 8-bit Indiana Jones game. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what it was called, but we used to play that all the time in schools too. And I think it was pre-programmed into QBasic. But I remember we used to play that all the time too. It's not The Last Crusade. I don't know if you guys remember that. God, I can't remember that, but we had a lot of fun with that too. It was kind of like an action RPG type deal.
Didn't they make a point and click Last Crusade game?
That I don't remember. I'm sure they probably did.
I think because I kind of remember it, but it.
Oh
yeah.
yes, they did.
Did they?
I remember that. Yeah.
I
do.
remember playing that.
That was a DOS based game.
Yeah. The graphics are like worse than regular Nintendo.
Math Blaster.
Math Blaster.
I remember like those programs.
Dude, Freddy the Fish.
Wasn't there one called Mr. Munch or something?
I don't remember.
It's so long.
I want to play these now.
Good luck running them.
Yeah.
DOS box or something.
Yeah, it was so funny. I actually just bought like Mega Man on a 3.5 floppy disk or whatever, and I can't even like play it.
Yeah, it'd be tough to even find a floppy disk anymore.
But so like, what are you playing now? Like for modern games, you're obviously not playing old DOS games.
No, if I could, I would, but no. I play a little bit of everything, and it's kind of funny because I'm not really a big of a first-person shooter fan on consoles. I don't know what it is. It's always the control schemes. But on the PC, man, it's a whole different situation. Like, I absolutely love first-person shooters. With the keyboard and mouse, the controls are just magnificent, so much faster. And I've been playing a buttload of those, but really, I'll play anything. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. Other than that, I still dabble in the MMO scene. I just actually canceled my subscription to the Old Republic. I was having a lot of fun with it. I just didn't think I would enjoy it past the part where I had been to it. I didn't really want to play the in-game because I heard it's not all that great yet. And I still have my subscription to WoW, and I haven't played that in a couple months. I don't know. The MMO scene's kind of getting boring and lackluster for me, especially paying for it every month. But yeah, I've mainly been sticking to a lot of free-to-play type games, and a lot of those happen to be free-to-play, first-person shooters.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like, with the MMOs. So, like, my first MMO, I already said, was City of Heroes, and then they came out with City of Villains. And, just your typical MMO, but, you play superheroes, you create a superhero. And it was actually a lot of fun. I played that game for, like, I would have to say maybe, like, 2 years. And I absolutely loved it. You create task force, you grow in super groups, you fight different super villains within the game, and it was fantastic. And from there, I went from Champions Online, which was basically like the same thing. It was another like superhero MMO, but like I've almost played almost all the MMOs out there except for the new Star Wars one that's out currently right now. But like you don't like that one, you said, or?
No, I did like it.
Okay.
I mean, it's legit. I just didn't like it to the point where I see myself continuing to play it, and especially paying for it. If it went free to play, which I suspect that'll happen before, sooner or later, I'll probably pick it back up and play it again. But I don't know. I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was a lot of fun actually getting out there and kicking people's asses with lightsabers. The combat in the system by far was awesome. The voice acting was amazing too, but it's just, I don't know if I'm just at this certain point in my life where I just can't get immersed into an MMO anymore. or what's going on, but it didn't draw me in. And I don't think it's the game itself. I've tried to go back and start WoW again, even though I have a year subscription to it, and I get bored with it, man. In like the first hour or so, I can't do it anymore.
Well, it's constant grinding, basically,
Yeah.
from like level 1 to like, well, what's WoW go up to, 85 now?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it is 85. Yeah, well, it is. It's constant grinding, and I have friends who play like a lot of MMOs, and they always tell me the game doesn't start till you're level 80, 85. I'm like, dude, fuck that, man. That's stupid.
Too much.
You know, like that may be true, but like that just sounds ridiculously stupid to me. You know,
Right. And a lot of the things with WoW in particular, I do have a close-knit group of friends that play it, but all they want to do is go through and do like dungeon raids and stuff like that, and I actually much prefer the questing part of it. Like, I like going out to all these different quests and leveling up and stuff like that, and they absolutely hate it. They hate that part. All they want to do is max out their character and just go around and do dungeons and stuff, which is fine and all, but that kind of leaves me out there doing my thing by myself, and with an MMO, it's kind of pointless for that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to do that, I might as well just sit at home and play a solo RPG or something, but...
Yeah, I'm totally with you. That was my favorite part, was just doing the quest, leveling up, and so I never got into the PvP raid things. I found I tried them, I got slaughtered. I couldn't see the point of them.
I'm terrible at PvP in that
Yeah,
game.
me
I don't
too.
know why.
But,
Give me a good hack and slash type game, and I'm awesome at PvP. But good lord, in an MMO, I'm just terrible. I've even got one of those. I've got a Razer Naga mouse, so I've got like the legit mouse with the 1,000 buttons on it, and I still can't figure that shit out for the life of me.
The only thing that like truly kills MMOs for me is my friends. Like, if my friends are playing MMO, I'll play them. Like, I have, I have maybe like 3 or 4 friends playing the Star Wars one right now, and that's kind of why I want to play the Star Wars one, is to play with them. But what stops me from playing an MMO is when they stop.
True.
You know, like,
True.
it's happened with City of Heroes, Champions Online, WoW, when they stop playing, I stop playing, and when they start, that's when I start. You know, it's like, it's weird that way, but... No.
Well, and the bad thing about the Old Republic, and by no means is it bad to the game at all, but you really almost get too engrossed into the storyline, which BioWare does a fantastic job with in that game, to really make it a great multiplayer experience. Like, I found myself actually wanting to play that game just by myself and going off and doing my own quests and stuff like that, just so I can sit down and listen to the dialogue, because they just do an amazing job with it. And it's a lot of people don't want to go through that because they're so used to your standard MMOs where a text box just, a box pulls up with all this chat and text in it, and you can just skip through it all if you want to. With this one, I actually sat there. I was like, man, this is awesome. I want to pay attention to this, and they'd be waiting on me to move on to the next quest and stuff like that while I'm sitting there in these cutscenes. So, it's one of those games that I think it benefits it having this awesome storyline, but for the multiplayer aspect, I think it hampers it as well.
Have you guys played MMOs? Techno? Dan?
No, not really. The first, I think, MMO I ever tried was DC Universe, just because it went free to play, and I enjoyed it for like the little bit of time I spent with it, but then I gave up after a while. I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I had my enjoyment. It was free, so it was fun,
Dan,
though.
I think you could get a lot of enjoyment because there's a lot of you're really big into like JRPGs, right?
Yeah, and
I mean,
I've seen some like MMOs like that, like in the JRPG style and all that.
Right, yeah, and there's quite a few free-to-play ones out there.
Yeah, I've been intrigued in those. And that one you mentioned, like the 8-bit, like shoot 'em up, I actually downloaded that a couple of days ago. I haven't tried it out yet, though. I've been wanting to.
It's definitely awesome. It's very frustrating though, because I mean you're gonna die. No doubt about it. You're gonna die left and right. You're gonna constantly be making new characters. The level cap on the game's level 20, and I've been playing quite a bit, and I haven't made it past level 6 yet. So it's a lot of fun though. It's definitely a lot of fun.
That's cool. I do like roguelikes, so I'll probably like that.
Not me. Not me. If it kicks my ass too hard, I don't want to play it.
What about you, Techno? Any MMO? Oh, I know. God, I know.
But
PSO.
yeah, but I played that on Dreamcast, and then like whenever the servers went down, and then I found out a couple of years later that there were things called private servers, and I got on those, and then I found out there's PSO on PC. I was like, yeah, awesome. So I got on PC and got back into the addiction for a little while. And,
they got...
what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was done talking about PSO, so it's...
Isn't there a new PSO out in Japan? Is that right?
Yes.
And if I heard
don't
right,
know if it's out right now. It might be.
I know it's going to be PC for sure, but they also are talking about making it Vita as well.
Yeah.
And there's going to be crossplay.
That'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
I would buy
That
that
would be
on Vita.
sweet.
But see, just not having a keyboard. You know, it's weird unless it's going to have voice chat, which I sincerely doubt it.
Well, the PS Vita actually has really good voice chat. That's something that their voice chat on the Vita is even better than the PS3 or whatever.
Well, yeah, but you also have to think if the game's going to have voice chat.
I would think so.
Well, I mean, they made it work with like Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh.
They had the voice chat on Monster Hunter Tri. Yeah. Not that it was a big amazing thing because it was using that Wii peripheral, but the Wii Speak or whatever. But
yeah.
Speaking of the Vita, I just actually picked up a Vita last night.
Nice.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh yeah, splurge.
What'd you get?
Did.
Like, what games did you get?
I only picked up one game so far. I picked up Unit 13.
I heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's it is pretty good. It's kind of a third-person shooter type deal, and it's not like your typical third-person. It has a lot of I don't want to say Gears-esque type elements to it, but it is one of those games you can't just go out and run and gun because it's going to kick your butt.
Yeah.
So you got to take cover, you got to hide and stuff like that. But what I find really intriguing about it is it really takes on a mobile platform, very similar to games like Angry Birds, for instance. You have a bunch of these tiered levels in a grid, and you go through and complete each mission, and you can keep going back and redoing each mission in order to get more stars or to get a better score on that level, and you just keep going through that. So the actual game and level progression is much like that of Angry Birds, which I find kind of cool.
That sounds interesting.
I hate Angry Birds.
Well, this is definitely not like Angry Birds. You're not chucking birds across the screen. But as far as the level progression, I thought that was kind of it's new to this type of game, so that was pretty cool. Do you guys play very many PC games at all these days?
Steam,
Yeah.
Like the reason I joined Steam, I remember I joined Steam. I just wanted to check it out at first, and then I saw the site. I'm like, oh, they got pretty good prices for all these games and stuff. It looks like they have weekly sales, and I downloaded it. And then once I discovered all these bundle deals, Humble Indie Bundle, Indie Gala Bundle, Indie Royale Bundle, I got addicted. Literally, my Steam is pretty much filled with all the games I've gotten from all these indie bundles. It's nothing but indie titles, and that's really what I love most about the PC is all these companies that can really, kind of easily go out there and put these indie games up on Steam, and we can play them. That's really cool to me. So I love supporting the indie games and indie developers. I always buy those bundles when they come out.
No, me too. And the nice thing about the PC is there's not a lot of the extra licensing fees and stuff like that. And Steam is very indie developer friendly. I mean, they welcome them with open arms. They allow you to bring so many games up on the Steam network, and it's so cheap. I mean, really, Steam is like your wallet's worst friend. It's so bad for a PC gamer. There's so many times I say, oh my god, that game's so cheap, I gotta buy it.
Impulse buy.
And of course I do. That's why I have 300 games in my Steam library. I'm broke as a joke, and I never get a chance to play any of them.
Exactly.
But what's really cool about Steam, too, is a lot of times they have these big games, and they have free-to-play weekends for these paid-for games. So it gives you a real good chance to actually try them out. For instance, right now they've got Dungeon Defenders on there for the free weekend. And if you decide to buy it, if you really like it, it's 50% off. I mean, it's just ridiculous what they do.
Yeah, the funny thing is I got that game on and that's another thing about Steam, their holiday sales are like unmatched. It's unreal.
Yeah.
And that's when I got Dungeon Defenders. I actually got it for like 75% off. Like it was $3, so I jumped on it. It's an awesome game.
Definitely. Now I gotta ask, are any of you guys Mac gamers at all?
No, I only use PC. No Mac.
No Mac. Cool.
Nope.
Gotcha. Well, do you guys have any like specific gaming rigs, or do you guys just play on what you have, or?
I just play what I got. So the thing with like PC gaming and me is like I'm a console gamer for the reason being is when I buy a game, I know it's gonna work. You know, like every time I buy a PC game, I'm always like, do I have enough memory? Do I have the right, upgrades? Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's the nice thing too about a lot of indie type games.
They will run since they're so simple.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of demanding specs to them. And do you guys ever check out cheapassgamer.com?
Yes.
And I'm a longtime member of their forums, and there's a whole thread dedicated to free PC games on there. And there's like 2,000 plus free to play PC games, and the majority of these games are not like system demanding at all. So I mean, you can have like a stock PC from like Walmart or somewhere like just integrated GPU and stuff like that, and you're going to be able to run a majority of these games and have so much enjoyment out of them. And it's really cheap, and that's one of our segments on the Binary Piecast is free game of the week. And me and Oren, we both just sit down and talk about a game that's completely free to play. And it's cool because it gives a lot of people different opportunities to enjoy different types of games.
I'll say right now, whoever's listening to this podcast, go check out the Binary Podcast because I listened to both your episodes so far. It's really entertaining.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I'm serious too.
Since I'm not like a big PC gamer, so it's good to hear like that side of it. And believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of PC like podcasts out there. It's usually just kind of more straightforward gaming. So there's not PC focus oriented podcasts like that.
And that was kind of our whole backing behind this project. It wasn't like we're trying to go out and do something new because everybody these days have a podcast. It was just one of those things that both of us shared a real big passion for PC games. And sadly, there's just not a whole lot of PC gaming podcasts out there. There's a few bigger ones from like PC Gamer Magazine and stuff like that. But sometimes they're kind of dull and dry. They don't really go into the whole indie aspect. They talk a lot about the big publishing games. And there's so much more out there to offer. And a lot of it's either dirt cheap or it's completely free.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yep, we're having a good time with it. I hope everybody else is liking it. It's definitely a blast.
I like it.
Yeah. And for me, like, I just usually play my PC games on my laptop, and it's not a gaming laptop per se, but it's got decent specs. I mean, it can run some, bigger games that I didn't even think it would be able to run, and it runs them. So, but indie games and like stuff like that, obviously it runs them no problems. So it's really good.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of great resources for classic games out there.
Yeah.
GOG.com, Good Old Games. It's an entire community just focused on bringing out retro-type PC games, and some of them aren't that retro. I mean, we're talking anything that's older than like the last 5 years and beyond that. But what they do is they completely take these old games and they optimize them to run in newer OSs, and it does it flawlessly. And just like Steam, they have a lot of sales over there too. So if you're into the retro scene and you like to check out some older PC games, get a good idea of where a lot of these RPGs came from, get on there and try the old Baldur's Gate games, Planetscape, games like that, good old Riven and Myst. Hop on there and check them out because they'll be able to run on your newer systems.
Yeah, that's a cool side.
Yup. PC Games boss. And then you always got the good old Team Fortress 2.
Oh,
Free-to-play.
yes.
What'd you say? Oh my god, it's... I shit you not. I posted a comment the other night that I said I think I can honestly give up all my other gaming habits and just play that game forever. And I stand behind that tenfold because that game is just so addicting. There's so much content out there for that game. It's just a blast.
And it's free.
Yeah.
Absolutely free, yeah.
The cool thing is, too, with that, like, the graphic style of how it's presented, it can pretty much run on any PC. It'll look beautiful and, like, the power rigs, but even if you think your computer's slow, it'll still be able to run it just because of how it is.
And it's going to run on a majority of your newer Macs, which is good, too, because there's just not a whole lot of offering out there for the newer Mac gamers.
You can collect hats.
Hats.
No
You
joke.
gotta love hats, man. You gotta love hats. No, that game, I just had my buddy download it the other day, and this is the first time he's really ever played an arena-based game. And me and him he's one of my best friends growing up, so we both played Diablo back in the good old days where you actually had to dial into each other's phone numbers to play multiplayer and stuff like that. The golden age of multiplayer PC games. But I got him to download this on his MacBook Pro the other day, and like I said, first time he's ever played like an arena team-based first-person shooter type deal, and we just had so many laughs. The game is just ridiculous. The different community, made game modes and maps and just everything you can do. We were playing this one map that was melee only, and it was set in medieval, so the map was like this big castle
yes.
and stuff. And me and him were going around playing as the scout and beating the shit out of people with candy canes. And it's just like, we got addicted to it and we got drawn in. We played that for like 5 hours, just going around beating the crap out of each other with candy canes. And it sounds so ridiculous and stupid, but once you start doing it, you just get so engrossed in it, and it's the most amazing thing ever. I definitely give hats off to Valve.
I remember buying it when it first got released.
Yeah. Did you buy the orange box?
Yep. That's the only way you could, unless you downloaded it on Steam.
Right.
That
was the original way to get Portal 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they didn't even
And then you
think
got
about.
Half-Life 2 with Episode 1 and 2, Portal, and TF2.
Speaking of PC games and Valve, I mean they're kind of industry setters for this. I honestly think, as a development standpoint, they're kind of getting beyond Blizzard and what they've done with the industry. Not speaking of MMOs, obviously WoW is its own beast. Can't really even go there. But as far as like first-person shooter type games, by far Valve has done a ridiculous job with that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the good old Counter-Strike, which kind of started the big craze.
Yeah. Counter-Strike, Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, the list goes on and on.
I used to go to this, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like, I used to go to this place where, like, you pay to have a certain amount of time to play a PC. What?
It's like a LAN.
Yeah, it was like this building where a whole bunch of computers were set up for like a LAN party, and basically you paid like, I think it was like $20 for like 4 hours or something like that, and that was like the main game to play was Counter-Strike. Of course, they had like other games, and you're like, just anything you could possibly think of, but Counter-Strike was the game that was going on pretty much like every time I went there, and like,
dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I grew up in like redneck Indiana, so we didn't have shit like that.
Yeah.
We didn't have like internet cafes. I mean, honestly, we were still rocking dial-up until about 6 years ago, and we finally got DSL in our small town.
Yeah, I don't even know if this place is still around. I think it was called like the Internet Connection or something like that. But it was so cool. But
that's cool, man. Yeah, that's those internet cafes and gaming cafes. That's like the big craze over in like North Korea or Korea and Thailand and all those places. It's like the ridiculous thing to do over there. People get like mugged and killed. Like, get off my computer, biatch. I need to play some StarCraft.
That's like their sport. Like every
Yeah, it's their national sport.
It's basically their national sport, StarCraft team.
It is. They're legit too, man.
I know. I can't play like that. Like that's a lot to manage, and how they do that is just pretty crazy.
That's what happens when you don't have a life.
When you can play one game like constantly all day long.
That's what
Dude.
I do.
Speaking of that, man, esports have gotten like ridiculously big in the last year or so, and a lot of it's coming from the PC side, which is really cool.
QuakeCon.
StarCraft, League of Legends.
So much competitive PC gaming out there.
And now it's spreading into the fighting game genre, which is crazy. Like that never used to be such a big deal, but now you have these huge like tournaments and events just for fighting games. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. That's QuakeCon is where I played the beta of the first Left 4 Dead.
Nice.
Now, have you guys played League of Legends or any of those Dota type games?
No.
I haven't played League of Legends yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just downloaded it the other night, and I really want to get into it, but I just don't know much about it. I'm gonna give that a try this weekend, though. I hear great things.
I have a friend who plays that game like a lot, and he absolutely loves it. And we actually had him on the podcast. I forget what episode, but he was a space pirate, and he plays that game a lot, and he loves it. So I personally never played it though.
I'll have to give it a try. Are you guys big into like the RTS genres?
I have fond memories with an older one. Like this is a memorable experience, but I think it was one of the first like PC games I bought. Like when I got not this PC, I had like an older laptop. But then I bought Age of Empires collection, and oh my god, I got addicted to that because like at the time I was like, I was actually like I was taking honors history classes and all that, and honors government, and I got into it just because of the history aspect of it, and like the buildings look pretty historically accurate for the most part for some of them. It's just addicting, like managing resources and building up a huge army and then just sending them all at once to attack, or just sending little raiding parties. I got into that a lot, especially Age of Empires 2. So those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stories. Command and Conquer 3.
That's a big one.
Tiberium Wars. Yeah. Oh my god. Every time I would go to the LAN, or now even, we play a little bit of Command and Conquer 3, and we have a friend, or I have a friend, that loves to use, I forget the team names or whatever, or the people you can play as. He would use the mothership and say he's attacking me because he's my opponent, but one of his teammates would already be attacking me, but he would like just say, oh, fuck it, and he'd destroy my base with destroying his teammate as well. And I was like...
Good old counter strategy.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I never really did get into the postmodern RTSs aside from the StarCraft series. I was always big into the, like, kind of the medieval, like the Stronghold game when it came out in the early 2000s. Obviously Warcraft, I like the old lore with that. Age of Empires, for instance, anything that really harkened back to the old times I really liked. I really used to really enjoy the RTS games. I can't say that I do a whole lot anymore, because really they're almost like a solid MMO. Like they take a lot of time if you want to sit there and play through the actual campaign. Like it's a big time investment, and I just don't have that time anymore. But yeah, it's cool. I have what is it, Civilizations 5, the latest Civ game that came out.
I absolutely love Sid Meier's Civilization games. I really do. Like, I have 2 and 3 on the PC, and then I also got, what's the full title? It's Civilization Revolution for the Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah.
I love, it's probably like my favorite PC game is the Civilization series. I haven't got like 4 or 5 yet, but I love them. They're absolutely beautiful. I don't know what it is about them, but they're just great. I'm just huge into like maybe simulation type of games. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But those and MMOs.
Yeah. We also play a lot at LANs, Dota, and I suck at it. But like it, you know, I wouldn't say I suck. I did whenever I first played it, but I'm getting a little bit better.
Are you excited for Dota 2?
Not really excited. I could really not care. I mean, I'll buy it, but I'm not, big into Dota. I just, play it whenever people want to play it.
Right. I'll probably buy it because I've never played Dota. Partly because I think when Warcraft 3 came out, I really lost a lot of passion for enjoy it, being the biggest Blizzard fanboy that I am. It didn't live up to my expectations that Warcraft had already set for me. So I never really did get into the mod scene with that. So Dota was something I just never tried. But I'm definitely looking for the new one. Valve making that and all that. So it should be pretty legit.
What is Dota? Is it like an RTS?
It's an arena-based type game that was originally a mod for Warcraft 3.
3, yeah. Frozen Throne.
Okay. I've never heard of this before.
The Defendants of the Ancients is what it stands for.
Yeah, if you just Google it, I mean, your screen will just blow up with so much information. Because it's literally like one of the, and I think if I remember right, Techno, League of Legends is basically kind of a spin-off over Dota, right?
Yeah. And just to kind of help quick freeze out on picturing it, it's like you have towers, like each team there's 2 teams, and then, or you could have more than just 2, but there's towers for, each of you, and they will attack you if you go to it. You just have to, knock them down, and you gotta knock down all of them. And then whoever knockdowns the most, or if your team, say if me and you were playing, if I knocked down all your towers, the game is over. I would win.
Okay, so it's like a tower defense game?
Sort of.
Okay. I get the gist of it. I get it.
I mean, it's a play on your standard RTS game where you control, you typically have control over units, where in Dota, you basically have hero classes, which is one main hero that you level up, kind of like traditional RPGs, and the hero is what you go into battle with, instead of not necessarily an entire class or a whole spectrum of warriors and different classes inside that. You just basically have this one hero that you use.
Yeah, and you have, like, little things that's, like, fucking, like, are your, like, army type thing, but they can be killed in no matter what. You just have to...
Gotcha. But if I remember right, your army is just basically all AI controlled, right? You just control your hero.
You just control the hero. You level up your hero so you won't, lose health so fast. And you can get, like, you can get boots that speed you up, and...
Get boobs?
Boots.
Oh, okay.
God damn.
I need to play those.
I thought you said boobs, and I was all over. I was going to go download Dota right now.
It's a new mod.
It's a new mod. Man, I remember playing so many mods on StarCraft 1. There's like a Pokemon one.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. And that one
Yeah.
became really big, didn't it? Like, weren't they playing that a lot?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, and there's just so much out there for PC gamers. It's ridiculous. I don't remember Techno. If you remember, games like Black and White, for instance.
Yep.
Did you ever play that?
I played a little bit of it.
Oh man, I put so much wasted time into that game. It was ridiculous. It was pretty cool because the whole aspect of that game was you were basically playing God.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to control this massive ass creature, and you could basically do what you wanted to. You could either help these villagers, or you could destroy them, kick them around, pick them up, and throw them across the screen. I mean, it was ridiculous. But yeah, just so many games out there.
Yeah, like my dad had a friend, and he would give me all his old PC games that he didn't play anymore, and Black and White was one of them.
True.
Nice. So, want to jump into some gaming news, fellas?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll go. I have two news segments there, or news stories that I found interesting. First is involving Persona 4 The Golden, and apparently it's supposed to have new and old battle music. The news article says more details from Famitsu reveal Marie, a new character introduced in Persona 4 The Golden, has a social link, so they're adding like additional content. Atlas revived the pop quizzes with new questions during the school hours, and in the evening you can also walk around freely, even visit shops, which is something you couldn't do before. If you want to reach out to the truth, you have to surprise shadows by striking them from behind in Persona 4 The Golden, which I guess that gives you a preemptive strike before. I think they had that in Persona 3 too, if you catch them off guard when you strike them. The PlayStation Vita version has two battle tunes. The original music plays if you hit a shadow with a back attack. Otherwise, Persona 4 The Golden plays a new battle theme. Famitsu also reports Persona 4 The Golden has internal chat log function that keeps track of events, useful if you put the game down for an extended period of time, but problematic if you two-time all the girls in the game, since it is kind of like a, building relationships with these people and then fighting them in dungeons. So you don't want to piss off the girls, because I got to a point in Persona 3 where apparently you go far enough in the social link and like you kind of get a girlfriend, and if you start hanging out with other girls, she gets mad. It's weird, but it's interesting. I'm curious to hear the new tunes. I mean, Persona 4 has some awesome music. It's incredible. I love Shoji Meguro. He really does some incredible composing for all the Persona games. And Catherine. He's got a really distinct style. Like, I don't know how to describe this style. It's not typical, like, JRPG tunes you would expect. And the other news article is involving some DLC for a newly released game that I actually will probably talk about in a little bit, but it is Falcom and Cave become playable in Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2 as characters. While Falcom and Cave are in Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2, both MMO mascots aren't playable characters yet. Next week, NIS America will sell a Cave license and a Falcom license for $2.99 apiece. Buy these and you can add the Falcom and Cave to Nepgear's party. Other upcoming downloaded contents include a closet full of costumes like a Death Smile set for Cave and a bunch of free voice packs on April 17th. And I checked their DLC list because NIS released it, and apparently they have tons of DLC scheduled for this game. It's insane. But the cool thing is it looked like there's a lot of free DLC, which is always nice. But yeah, like I got to a point in this game where I just met I met both Falcom and Cave, but I wasn't sure if they'd be playable characters, but apparently they're not. They're just mascots, but coming soon you'll be able to add them to your party in Neptunia MK2. It's funny because the characters look like so stereotypical of the companies. Like the Cave girl looks like some girl straight out of Death Smiles, and Falcom Falcom just looks like this typical adventurer that's like ripped out of the Legend of Heroes. It's really funny.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was my news. What about you, Clive? What kind of news?
Well, I got the story that was kind of interesting, and it says Disney tells Sega they can no longer make Marvel video games anymore. Marvel has officially decided that Sega will no longer be in charge of making their movie tie-in games after a handful of fantastic titles, and I say fantastic with parentheses over it, in the franchise of Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Captain America, and Thor. Most of the games have received a very poorly, both critically and financially, and I'll tell you guys right now, I've played Iron Man, it was okay. Incredible Hulk, I actually thought was quite awesome. I haven't played Captain America, and
Oh God, Thor.
yeah, I've said this so many times, Thor is probably the worst one of the bunch, but, yeah, Thor. But, in general, this is kind of like all movie-based games, you know what I'm saying? They don't turn out all that great anyway. So, I don't know why Disney is telling Sega they can no longer make the games. But that's the thing of it. You guys know a couple years ago, Marvel was bought by Disney, and Disney makes its own games. Disney Interactive publishes games like Toy Story 3, Tron Evolution, Epic Mickey, Connect Disney Land Adventures. So it kind of makes sense that Disney is telling Sega they can no longer make them because they own Marvel. Why can't Disney make the Marvel games now? So it's not like a huge deal, but I could see the reason behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the problems with the movie tie-in games is just the demand, the lack of time that they get to develop these games and push them out, and they don't really get the free, resources that they should have. They don't really get to go out and do what they want with it. They gotta kind of go by whatever they tell them to go by.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're always on a schedule because the next movie that comes out that's getting a video game is The Amazing Spider-Man.
Right, and all those games are just quick, easy cash-ins for the company. They don't care about actually developing a decent game.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I've seen the Amazing Spider-Man trailers, and it actually, I'll admit, it does look pretty damn cool. So, I'm definitely gonna buy this one because it's fucking Spider-Man, and I think this one actually looks pretty good. So hopefully it doesn't suck as bad as Thor, but
We'll see.
it looks pretty good. And that Captain America, I haven't played that Captain America,
That one
but
looks pretty good.
I've heard people say good things about Captain America.
Yep.
So I don't know, Marvel movie-based games, some were good, some are bad. Like that Wolverine X-Men Origin one. That was awesome. I love that one. I played that thing twice, dude. That was a great game. But, it was based on a movie. It had pretty much nothing to do with the movie, but it was still a great game based on that movie. But,
True.
But that's it, really. That's my news that Disney is telling Sega to pack your bags. You're not making Marvel games anymore, which, makes sense.
True.
And
they do make some pretty good games, too. Pure? I don't know if you guys ever played that,
Pure
but Pure was
split second.
pretty good.
What's this game?
Pure, the ATV racing game.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it, but I haven't played it.
And they also made
pretty
Split
good.
Second. Split Second's a really interesting racing game where it's got all these epic events that you can use, destruction of the environment, and you use it to your advantage. It's really
And it looked really, really good, too. They
Yeah.
looked beautiful.
So Disney's starting to come up there as a game developer for sure.
But, what about you, Techno? What do you have for news?
well, I'm excited.
Okay.
Sega might actually re-release Shenmue in HD. And Skies of Arcadia, explosions everywhere. Speaking with Game Reactor at GDC, Sega's associate brand manager, Ben Harborn, said in response to questions over what have been the most requested re-releases, quote, I can tell you what'll be Shenmue, that, and Skies of Arcadia. There are a couple of our most requested games. I can't say yes or no, but we may be working on them, unquote.
Maybe.
Yeah, that right there just says, yeah, we're working on them, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, why bring it up?
Stop messaging us about it.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know. I thought Shenmue was boring.
I haven't played. I have it, but I haven't played
The
it.
game's not for everyone.
Boring.
It's
No, it's
definitely
not at
for-
all. It's not at all.
You either like really like it, or you just kind of kind of get bored of it, which
Yeah,
is
you know,
understandable from both points.
The thing with that game, it's one of those games though where if you have a Dreamcast, even if you hate it or you love it, you just gotta have it.
Yeah, and you gotta appreciate what it did too. Kind of like Ocarina of Time. Like Ocarina of Time had a lot of huge advancements for video games at the time. The same with Shenmue on the Dreamcast. So you've never been able to like interact so much with an environment like that, or explore an open world like that massive. Picking up like oranges and simple stuff like that. Being able to do all that was crazy.
Yep. Definitely.
I might buy the Shenmue for the Xbox.
And Skies of Arcadia is a great RPG.
I will definitely pick up
It's
Skies.
amazing.
Techno, have you ever played Skies of Arcadia Legends on the GameCube? Even though it's pretty rare though.
No.
That's really good.
Was that a direct sequel or was it a port?
I think it was like a remake. It was like an updated visual kind of remake.
Okay.
Yeah, you could download stuff onto the Dreamcast version through, the internet.
SegaNet?
Yeah. And, but it's already on the GameCube disc. One.
Gotcha.
And, like I said in another episode a while back, that whenever you're about to get in a battle on the Dreamcast version because it sounds like a fucking jet engine about to take off.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
God, it's been so long since I played a Skies game, but it was so good. I remember when it came out, it was so good.
Yeah. I love it.
Nice.
Well, I just have a couple of quick news pieces. I'll try to make it quick, but since we've been talking about PC games, kind of the godfather of post-apocalyptic RPGs, before the big old Fallout series came out, there was a little game called Wasteland, and they're actually following Tim Schafer's footsteps, and they're developing Wasteland 2, and they got a Kickstarter project going on right now. And what's really, really cool about this is that one of my favorite guys in PC gaming, Min Liang Tan, which is the CEO of Razer. So if you guys know anything about PC gaming and Razer products, he's the guy kind of running the show over there. He pledged $10,000 himself to get this Wasteland 2 project up and going, which is that's pretty cool, man. For a guy out there to actually put that out, because he wants to see this game come out. And I saw people like Cliffy B, tweeting about it and stuff like that. So it's cool. I mean, these old RPGs are starting to get new facelifts, and they're coming out with sequels. And it all started, really, it's kind of revolutionary what Tim Schafer did with Kickstarter and his new point-and-click adventure. But to also go along with Razer, because I'm such a big Razer fanboy myself, they've got this new thing out called Razer Academy, and this ties into what we were talking about earlier with competitive PC gaming. This is basically like ESPN for esports. They've got professional gamers coming on here, showing guides and talking about different things in the esports scene with these different games like Dota 2, StarCraft 2, all these first-person shooters and stuff like that. And right now it's in beta phase, kind of like everything Razer has. It's always in beta. But you guys can check that out over at Razer's own Academy. And last but not least, for all you Skyrim fanboys out there, I don't know if this is coming out for the console versions or not, but on the PC, they just got 1.5 update, which adds some cool new features, including new cinematic kill screens, and killing moves for melee weapons and projectile weapons and spells, which is awesome.
Nah, they're not gonna. Console version won't get it.
Yeah, they probably won't update that.
Because Microsoft's a bitch.
Yeah, and
Right.
Sony probably
Just
won't
like with TF2.
Yeah, that's dead on me.
Microsoft didn't let Valve update it.
True.
Or Microsoft didn't want to.
I think it's cool though that they're able and willing to actually sit down and develop and bring these new kill screens out, which is it's pretty cool because it definitely changes the gameplay up, especially if you're one of those people that delve a lot of time into Skyrim or any RPG for that matter.
That's one game I've seen a lot of mods for is Skyrim.
Oh god, I watched like a live stream and I know the guy, he's really cool, but I watched the live stream and he was playing Skyrim and he's like basically dicking around the whole time with mods. It was the most Skyrim with mods is the most funniest thing I've ever seen. Like the mods are insane. Like you basically download all these patches and whatever, and then there's like mods that let you adjust like the size of everything, like houses, animals. You can shrink them down really tiny, or have little like baby dragons, or summon like as many creatures as you want. There's one was really stupid, but like as I was dying, is like it's called a cursing like crab mod, where like it's crabs, and if you hit them, they'll curse. They'll be like, "Oh, damn it!" Like just like that. Exactly. They'll say that. That's all you'll hear, and they'll just be cussing anytime you like kill these crabs. It's just so funny. Oh, there's a dancing one too, where you can make people dance. It was hilarious.
They've got so many mods. They've got My Little Pony mods out there.
That's a new one.
They've got a Spider-Man mod that literally turns all of the spiders in the game into Spider-Man.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
It looks ridiculous. But they also have a lot of mods that actually really benefit the game, like a lot of texture mods and stuff like that. Make the water look better, make the snow look better, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. But speaking of Skyrim, it's now Steam Workshopable. So a lot of these user-based mods are actually downloadable straight through Steam and updated on the game itself, which is really cool. It's a cool feature.
Wow.
So you don't have to go to an outside resource to download all these mods and hope you don't get viruses and stuff like that, because Steam is actually supporting them right through the software, so definitely cool. And probably the biggest news, which I'm like jumping up and down about, is Blizzard has now got a release date for Diablo 3, which will be the holy grail of PC gaming.
And you can pre-order it right now.
Or you could be like me and just already buy the thing.
Yeah, don't you got the year subscription, so you get the thing for free?
Yeah, I've already got mine paid for since I got a year WoW subscription. I'm so excited for this. It's ridiculous. I don't know how I didn't see this sooner, but yep, May 15th for all you gamers out there. It's coming.
That's really close.
That's really, really close. I was honestly thinking maybe like last quarter of this year, and possibly first quarter of next year. But May 15th, it's gonna be legit. Sadly, from what I heard though, that they're possibly releasing it without a PvP segment in the game.
I did hear that, but
Because
I also heard
it's not up to par for Blizzard, or so they say. I think that's just a cheap way to get it out there and get people's grubby money, and then they'll just patch it later down the road.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They are going to patch it.
Right. Have you guys seen the collector's edition for this at all?
No.
I tell you what, I'm not usually big into a whole lot of collector's editions, but Blizzard kind of does it top notch. They definitely go over the top with their stuff. I mean, they release a lot of digital content for their other games as well. Pretty much all their collector's editions, you get like special mounts and WoW and pets and stuff like that, as well as releasing collectible like hard book, art books, comic books, cards, playing cards. This one, for instance, you're getting a Diablo skull-shaped USB drive that's got the original Diablo games on it. So they do a lot of cool stuff with their collector's editions that not a lot of people are doing anymore. I'm still rocking my World of Warcraft mouse pad from Cataclysm Special Edition. It's legit.
Alright, is that it for news?
think so.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Do you guys want to get into games we've been playing?
Yes.
No.
Alright, screw you then.
You're the deciding vote, Clive. We have one
All
for
right.
yay, one for nay.
I say we do it, but, you know, Techno, you're not allowed to.
Oh.
It's my vote, so I get to choose.
Yeah.
Alright, Dan, why don't you go first, man?
Okay, so the first one I talked about, I was going to get into it since I just got it last Thursday, finally got my hands on it, but that is Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2. This is a pretty quickly released sequel to Hyperdimension Neptunia, which came out last year, like early last year. And if you don't know, Hyperdimension Neptunia is basically a JRPG that really references video game culture in general. Like, it references everything about gaming you could possibly imagine. Like, it just kind of pokes fun at the video game genre and the game industry itself, because the main corporation in the game is that you're trying to kind of save. The corporation is called game industry. You're trying to save game industry because it's being corrupted by all these evil forces. And if you can understand that, it's just an interplay of, like, it goes pretty deep if you really think about it, but they reference everything. Like, the first one was published by Sega, so it had tons of Sega references, but more than that, it just had references to everything. It even had Nintendo references, even those, you know, in part published by Sega. But the interesting thing is, I bring up the Sega point, is I went to Neptunia MK2, and it seems like, well, they dropped Sega from the sequel for some reason. I don't know if it was licensing agreements or Sega just didn't have the time to put into MK2, which, when I heard that, I was kind of disappointed, because I think the reason the first one had so many references and so much of its, like, hilarious humor was in part to Sega. I think Sega really made that game kind of funny and did a fantastic job with the gaming references. So I went to this one and played about 6 hours, and definitely I can tell that lack of Sega support has kind of hurt the... there's still references, but the story's just not as funny as the first one. It's very bland, and granted, the first story was pretty remarkably bland too, but at least it had a lot of references going for it. This one, not so much. I mean, there's references to, like, Pac-Man. Some of the characters look like ghosts, basically. They're called, like, Miss Clyde and all that. So they're ghosts, and there's, like, Space Invaders, and, you know, the characters are references. You know, you have... What's new to this one is Cave. So Cave is the makers of all these bullet hell shooters, and then you have Falcom, which I didn't even know was in the game, but the makers of the E series and the Legend of Heroes series, and, you know, they poke fun at it. The characters look like they're, like, out of the games that they're representing. Like, Cave looks like she should be from Death Smiles, you know, Falcom looks like she's some typical adventurer from Legend of Heroes. It's just really crazy like that. But the big deal with this one is they did overhaul the battle system, and pretty much, you know, not so much the overworld mechanic. It's still kind of like an overworld mechanic where you point and click to where you want to go, and it's still a dungeon crawler, but the best comparison is pretty much like an Atelier game now, if you can imagine that. You go to these dungeons, and you have a small little dungeon that you can explore through, but it's open world. You see your characters, and this time you actually see the enemies on the field, which in the first one it was random encounters, so you just pop up with a random encounter. You wouldn't see them on the field. So, and the battle system is a much welcome improvement, even though I didn't hate the battle system from the first one. I actually really liked it, but they did change the battle system to more freedom type battle system where you control the characters, and they have like a little radius, almost kind of similar to Eternal Sonata. Each character has a radius they can move in, and you move them, and they have a little like square box in front of them, and that determines how many enemies you can hit and like what you can do. There's different combos. The moves so far aren't... The cool thing about the first one is the moves were really over the top. Like, you'd have moves that were named after games like Alex Kidd and all that. You'll summon like 8-bit sprites from Alex Kidd and, you know, Fantasy Zone. All these little sprites pop up on the screen. It's really hilarious in the first one. But not so much with this one. The moves are fairly standard. There's nothing like that, so it's kind of sad to find out about that. I mean, later on there's some crazy over-the-top stuff, like Kenji Inafune is in here, and like literally, like they have a picture for him, and he's like in this little Twitter app kind of thing, and later on he has this move where it's a big picture of Inafune, and he shoots like a laser beam. It's like really over the top.
I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, the game is still crazy, it's still over the top, but it lacks a lot of the humor from the first one, for sure. But people are saying they, kind of like the first one, understandably, they really hate the game, or just not an RPG for everyone. But so far, I played 6-7 hours, and I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's any leaps and bounds improvement over the first one. I think they're both pretty on the same fault line, basically. They made some improvements, yet they had some setbacks as well that, they broke stuff that was pretty much okay in the first one, like the humor and the dialogue. So I think it's okay. It's a RPG that's not for everyone, but recommended to people who like over-the-top RPGs or die-hard JRPG fans, because it really is going to take a die-hard fan to go all the way through this game to beat it, because it is pretty much an extremely repetitive RPG for the most part. You do a lot of the same stuff over and over and over. It gets really repetitive, but it does have a lot of humor, and it's an interesting RPG series. If you like Atelier, then I think Mark II would be interesting for you, because like you said, you do accept quests now, kind of similar to Atelier. You didn't do that in the first one, so you accept quests, you get rewarded. It seems like you make money a lot easier in this game. The first one, it was kind of a hard time to make money. But, I think it's okay from what I played so far. I definitely need to play some more to give, some final opinions on it. And on the Xbox 360, I played a little bit more Red Dead Redemption, the game I've been playing for quite a bit. And I just basically played some of the later missions. I'm on some of the last missions. I'm nearing the end. And I'm enjoying it. I really think Red Dead Redemption is a really quality game. I think I can totally understand why it won all the Game of the Year awards it did back in like 2010. But it's definitely not for everyone. People compare it as like a Grand Theft Auto meets Wild West, and it's a little more sophisticated than that, and the storyline's a lot more deeper. I like the character, but if you don't like the Wild West setting, trust me, you will be bored to death in this game, because believe it or not, it looks like the Wild West. It's just a bunch of rolling hills, valleys, and all this, and you're riding a horse. So for some people, they think that's boring, but I like the Wild West setting. And it's funny we mentioned this, talking so much about Valve, and I just randomly played this, but on the Xbox 360 I played some more Left 4 Dead, the original one, and I just had a lot of fun with it. I was going through one of the campaigns again, and I was actually able to unlock some new achievements that I didn't think I'd be able to do, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. It's a great first-person shooter, great with co-op for sure. It's just a lot of fun just killing a bunch of zombies and being really competitive towards the end to see who killed the most zombies, who was hurt the most. It's really cool. And I've been addicted to this game. I can't get enough of it. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 on the PS2. I am 50 hours plus into this game, and I absolutely love Persona 3. And the crazy thing is, I still have Persona 4 to look forward to, which people say is even better, but I love Persona 3. I don't know what to say. I'm going further. The story's really starting to hit the climax of it. I'm really intrigued on how they're going to wrap this really complex story up in the end. I'm basically nearing where I'm on the last, quote-unquote, last boss. I know it's not the last boss. There's still like 3 more months that you have to play after the last boss. But it's an awesome game. The aspect of like social simulation with school and all that, and building these social links in order to improve the power of personas, and the Persona aspect is totally just a play off Pokemon. It's like collecting Pokemon. You got to collect all the Personas, fuse them all. Later on, you want to get the most powerful Personas, and they learn new moves as they level up, and you have to drop moves because they can only learn 8 different moves, and certain moves are effective against certain types of enemies. But the dungeon crawling is a lot of fun. I just can't get enough of it. It's really addicting. Really great story so far too. And on the PSP, I played a little more Platypus, which is a claymation shoot-'em-up made by Mumbo Jumbo. And I played some more of it. I actually got a lot farther than I've ever had before. I beat the first 2 levels, which I had a hard time the first time, but I think I just wasn't used to controls yet. So I got a lot farther, and I'm really enjoying the game. It's really quality, and it's really growing on me. It's a cheap shmup, so if you like shmups, I mean, it's definitely one to look for on the PSP. It's like super cheap, like under $10.
Do you know if they have a digital version of that on the store?
I don't know if they do, but I would assume they would. I mean, because I think it's a pretty popular title. I haven't checked that though. But I know it's all available on Amazon for like under $10. It's like $7 or something brand new.
I wonder if they got that available to the Vita yet on the place. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you're a shoot 'em up fan. It's unique. And on the DS, I started up a new RPG that I've been wanting to try out because I'm a fan. It's a spin-off of a series that I've become a fan of, and that is Atelier Annie Alchemist of Seri Island on the DS. And this is essentially just like a portable Atelier game on the go. The graphics are, they did a good job with the DS, like how they presented it. The environments look really colorful and all that. And it stays true to pretty much all the mechanics that you come to expect from the two Atelier games on the PlayStation 3. You're going to accept quests, you're going to go to these dungeons and explore them, and there's random encounters, and the dungeons are super simple. Like, you don't even have to explore. Like, you can basically see the whole dungeon on, like, the bottom screen, and that's it. So it's super simplistic. It keeps it, like, simplified for the DS. But it still has all the mechanics. The alchemy system seems just as in-depth as, like, the PS3 version. And in some rights, this version you would think would be simpler since it's on the DS. It's actually a lot more complex for one reason, and that's you have to manage a resort. So basically you're in charge of building this island, Seri Island, into like this big resort island. Like all these alchemists are competing to have the best resort on the island. So you're adding things like theme parks and, amusement parks, attractions like that, and shops and all this. So that's why I say it's more complex. It gets really in depth with that. Like at some points it might become overwhelming, but you have to manage like your funding. You get tons of money, like millions of dollars, but you have to spend it to manage attractions. You have to staff the attractions. It gets really in depth. So it's actually really, in some regards, a lot more complicated than the PS3 one. So that kind of caught me off guard. But I'm enjoying it, and the music is incredible so far in the game. It's really cutesy, upbeat music, but it's really solid. And the battle system's interesting. It's like a turn-based grid-like mechanic, almost pretty much identical to like a Radiant Historia. It's like a 2x3 grid on each side, and you can swap your characters between the front and back rows. And you fight enemies turn-based, you use items and all that. So it's really simple, but yet in some regards a lot more complex with the resort aspect. So it's interesting. If you like the Atelier series, it's definitely worth checking out. It's different. And on the PC, I played this, I think yesterday actually, and it's a game I wanted to try out because I bought it off Steam for like $1 when they had it on sale. And that is Dark Void Zero. And we all know Dark Void was like a really mediocre game made by Capcom for 360 and PS3. But Dark Void Zero is a really kind of odd game. It's like an indie game, but it's definitely a lot better than the 360 and PS3. What they did with this is essentially imagine like an old school 8-bit Capcom game, and that is Dark Void Zero. It is in total 8-bit style. It's a platforming action game where you're in charge of this like character who he can get a jetpack so he can like fly around the levels, and almost similar to like Contra or something. You have like a gun and you shoot, and you can get different guns like rocket launchers and shotguns, and you use them to solve like environmental puzzles and stuff. Really good game. I mean, if you like old school like Capcom 8-bit games like that, definitely worth checking out. It's total like homage to the 8-bit genre. Pretty sweet on the PC. And that's actually it. So Techno, what have you been playing?
TF2. Let me check my Steam. A little bit of Counter-Strike Source, a bit of Battlefield Bad Company 2 with Jason and Phantom Jest and Metallicar, and played some Magica. some Saints Row the Third, because I got that. It was on, like, sale, like, for 23 something bucks.
Did you get the PC version?
Yeah.
We'll have to.
It was on
play that.
Steam.
That has multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to play that
Co-op.
because I was not enjoying it by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I like the Grand Theft Auto games, so that's probably why I like it. And I think that's it for Steam games. I played some... Okay. Shinobi, the original arcade, is fucking harder than shit. I can't beat the first boss because he shoots these fucking two, like, balls of fire and it tracks you. And I try to jump away and the other one's like right behind and it goes up my ass and it's horrible.
Oh, wow. Did you like it?
No, I didn't. Not at all.
Well, that's
so
those arcade versions. They're always harder. Like, the ports are usually, simplified because you want to be able to enjoy it and go through a game. But in the arcade, they want your money, so they want you out that machine as quick as possible.
So I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna play me some Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, my favorite Shinobi game ever. And yeah, it's amazing. That could be my number one Sega Genesis game, but everyone knows what my favorite Genesis game is, so I'm not gonna say it. So
The Barney hide and seek.
Oh, I was just
No.
about to say that. No joke.
No. God, I'm not. No. It's Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Woo.
Barney's not in that though.
I know.
Should
That's
be.
why. That's why I like it. And then played some Tales, and I still can't beat that fucking boss.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Look up a guide or something. I can't believe you can't beat.
I think it's because I didn't fight like all the dudes.
Or were you like dodging them and avoiding them?
Yeah.
Well, come
So
on.
that's probably why.
Yeah, you're
So
probably under.
I'm gonna go back and fight them.
Yeah. The level
And then-
grinding's not bad in that game. If you
Well,
just
yeah.
fight the occasional enemy here and there, you should be pretty good to go for the bosses.
Well, see, the thing is, I love grinding
No. Well, you'll love grinding in that game. The battle system's awesome. It's fun.
because that's why I like Dragon Quest.
Yeah. That's why I like Etrian Odyssey and Darkspire and stuff like that. Grindcore. I think grinding's an essential part of like RPGs. So it's like even the easiest RPGs, you have to grind in some way. Like,
Yeah.
I like it. And the same with like fetch quests and all that. I don't mind fetch quests. I kind of like fetch quests. Or backtracking is.
Not a big fan of that, but
It's an inevitable like kind of aspect
Yeah.
of RPGs.
and then Gamester was playing last night for the first time Sonic
Right?
and All-Star Racing. Did I get that fucking
Sonic and
title right?
Sega All Stars.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have the game.
See, I don't know. The only reason I think they put in Sonic in the title is just to
Funny.
get little kids to buy it.
Yeah.
Or me. No, I was going to buy it anyways, but yeah, I played some of that, and I was going to play it online, and then I turned on my Xbox and was like, you ran out of gold. I was like,
Yes, you did.
ah, fuck. And I ain't got the money because I bought something.
Uh-oh.
I bought the first 4 figures
Oh yeah.
Knuckles statue.
Nice.
Exclusive. It's awesome looking. I can't wait till I get it. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. And played some Sonic Pocket Adventure. Yes, I still played this. It's just fun because you just pick it up and you can play it. You don't have to put any wire, hook up any wires to a TV or nothing. You just pick up, turn the power on, wait for a little bit because my battery's like dead or something.
Wise, yeah.
Yeah. It's like beeps shit.
Exactly.
And then, it's just fun. And like, I bought this Neo Geo like at a store that's no longer in business anymore. At like the next town over, and it had this, and I don't know why I didn't buy. They had I forget the name of it. Samurai
Showdown?
Spirits. Showdown. Is it Showdown?
I know there's a Samurai Showdown game on the Neo Geo Pocket.
Yeah, I think it's called Samurai Spirits in Japan, though.
Probably. I think
I'm
it is.
not sure, but yeah, I didn't know why I bought that, or I didn't buy that either. But yeah, still playing Sonic Pocket Adventure. It's fun. Just woo, loop-de-loop. Yeah. And my last game, I got into Gundam again. I've been watching at work and when I got home, Toonami. And you may think, you're like, oh, Toonami's gone. What the fuck are you talking about? ToonamiAftermath.com. It plays Toonami cartoons and like others. Like, some were on Toonami, like Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls, and dude, hey, don't hate on the Powerpuff Girls. You can shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Just shut up. And then, it plays, the anime, Dragon Ball Z, Thundercats, and
Ho!
Gundam Wing, and all the classics, and it's a 24/7 hour stream, and yeah, it's awesome. And it has like all the old commercials and promos and bumpers for Toonami and stuff. It's awesome. So the game I played is Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3.
How'd you like that?
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know some people don't like it.
Yeah. Well, see, I like grinding, and
Yeah.
it's kind of grinding, but I just like, you just fucking fight a big-ass wave of, and you're in a Gundam. If you hate Gundam, you're not alive. You're dead. Like,
Sleeping.
you got no heart. You have no heart. That's it for me.
Cody, what you been playing, man?
I have been playing a crap ton of PC games lately. Obviously, with the new podcast and stuff, I've been kind of trying to get out there and try new things. But I dabbled a little bit into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I played that. I was really addicted to that, but I've kind of chilled off that a little bit. But I've also been playing the 360 version with some YouTube friends and some people at work, and starting to get into that a little bit. But the control scheme is just terrible compared to the PC keyboard and mouse scheme. But I also played a little bit of Modern Warfare 2. I played a little bit more of Need for Speed the Run. Now, I played that and beat it when it first came out, and I enjoyed a lot of aspects about it, but the multiplayer is kind of lackluster in that game. It's just not that enjoyable. So I played it for a little bit, and then I uninstalled that. But like I said, I'm still playing Realm of the Mad God, enjoying a lot of that, but it's so tough. And then I've just been playing a lot of the free-to-play arena-based shooters. So I got into the beta for Super MNC, which is the new variant of the Monday Night Combat that released on the Xbox a while back. So I've been playing a lot of that, and of course, Team Fortress 2, as always, I play that nonstop. And I've been playing a lot with my buddy, who I just got into it, like I talked about earlier. So it's a lot of fun playing a lot of this stuff over with him and kind of going through the experience with a guy who's new to Team Fortress and going through all those new maps and stuff like that. But I've been really addicted to a free-to-play first-person shooter called Repulse. And you can find it online. Just search for Repulse on Facebook or Google or anything like that. But it's a team-based arena shooter, and what I really like about it, it's one of those games where you really feel like you're doing damage with the weapons. Unlike even sometimes in Team Fortress 2, it kind of feels lightweight as far as bullet damage goes. But in Repulse, it really feels like you're doing damage. And when you shoot people with a sniper, like I can't say it doesn't have like force feedback or anything, but you just feel like you're literally sniping somebody's head off. Like, it just feels that good. And then, like I said, last night I picked up the Vita. I haven't really got a chance to play with it a whole lot, but I picked up Unit 13, and I'm liking it so far. I'm glad I picked it up. It's really enjoyable. But I also downloaded the new MotorStorm RC for that. Unfortunately, that game I don't like at all. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. The controls are just terrible in my opinion. So I'm not really enjoying much of that at all. And then the biggest time waste, I should say, that I put into was in Mass Effect. I started playing the original Mass Effect again. My pal Oren told me I just had to get into it. So I loaded it up and I tried to play it, and I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is with the game, but it's just so damn slow. And he told me to put a little bit more time into it, that it does start to speed up. But I'm just at the point where I'm at the Citadel, and I'm kind of going around and exploring things there. But so far, it's just boring me to death. So I don't think I'm going to continue playing it.
Yeah, the first one in the trilogy is the slowest. If you can eventually make it past that game, 2 picks up the speed quite a bit.
I mean, is the entire first game like this slow? Because like I am literally just bored to death when I'm playing this game.
It kind of picks up near the end, but yeah, the very beginning of Mass Effect 1 is very slow. Like, you have to talk to all these different aliens, learn the history basically of every single alien in the game. But, once you get out of the Citadel and, into, space doing the missions, it does pick up quite a bit. And then if you ever get into Mass Effect 2, it picks up a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, see, what's really weird about it is I really enjoyed what BioWare did with the Old Republic. I got really engrossed in that story. But for whatever reason, it's just not working for me in Mass Effect. And I kind of knew that going into it because I did pick it up on launch on the 360 when it first came out. But what really deterred me from that was I absolutely hated the control schemes for the 360 version. I don't know, the combat was just terrible in my opinion. I'm not saying that for everybody, but for me, the way I like to play them, it was just really bad. So, but I picked it up on sale. I got it for like $5. On Steam or Amazon or something like that. I figured I'd give it another go since the third one was coming out, and I picked it up as well as Mass Effect 2. So I figured I'd give it a try. And fortunately, the keyboard and mouse controls are a lot better. As far as the combat goes, it's much more enjoyable this time around, but so far I just not getting into it. So I want to try to go back to it. I want to try to actually beat it because I keep hearing great things about the second one. Then obviously the third one I hear a lot of good things about. But it's pretty difficult for me.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the first one either.
It's just slow. They're throwing an entire lore at you. It's almost like, if you think about it, it's like Star Trek. There's a huge lore for Star Trek. So, and it's basically the same thing. They're throwing all this lore at you where you have to know everything, about every single species, so you can get, attached to these characters, attached to this universe. So, like if you went into, like, Star Trek, brand spanking new, you're probably going to feel the same way that you're feeling about Mass Effect. It's like dull, boring, like, I'm not saying, push through it, because, like, it is slow, but, like, it will pick up in Mass Effect 2.
It does.
The only thing with that, though, is, like, if you played the first one, what you did in the first one, it adds to the second game, making it better.
Right. I mean, it also picks up off the storyline, right?
Yeah.
So, like, your decisions and stuff you made in the first one can also help and progress the second game.
Yeah.
Which that's a really cool aspect. I like that they did that. I'm going to keep playing it because I've kind of got a goal this year to actually sit down and start going through my backlog. I'm trying to back off. It sounds like such a hypocrite since I picked up a Vita last night, but I am actually trying to not pick up as many games this year, and I actually try to sit down and complete games that I have, so I can at least enjoy them instead of keep adding to the collection. I'm actually sit down and playing them. But since I started it, I know I'm not very far into it, but I would at least like to start playing it again because Oren's kind of getting on my back about it. He's kind of annoying about it because he's a big Mass Effect fanboy. So I'll keep it up. Hopefully it'll pick up a little quicker here soon.
You'll be done with it whenever Diablo 3 comes out, though.
I'll be done with life when Diablo 3 comes out. I kid you not. I'll probably not even play Team Fortress 2. Probably, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. The amount of time I put into Diablo 2 was just over the top. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And this game, I don't know, unless Blizzard completely botches it and just does a horrible job with it.
Yeah.
It's bye-bye YouTube, bye-bye the rest of the internet, bye-bye life. It's going to be bad. It's going to be like that WoW episode of South Park.
I love that episode.
It's going to be bad. But yeah, that's basically all I've been playing.
Well, what I've been playing is, just like Dan, I've been playing quite a bit of that Platypus game. I'm on the 4th world, and I'm enjoying it. It's like I said in the last podcast, it's this simple 2D shoot 'em up game, and it's completely out of claymation. I can't say any more about it. Like, it's that fun and addicting.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool. What I like about it, because I've been playing it a lot at, like, work, like on my lunch break, and I can complete, like, one world within, like, a half hour. That's what I really like about a game. You can pick it up, play, put it down, and, you don't need to know you don't need to know a lot about the game. Just play it, and it's fun. So, the next game I've been playing is Mass Effect 3, and I actually beat this game yesterday, and I'll tell you guys right now, this is the best game out of the trilogy.
I bet.
And what you were talking about, DonDonRaiden, or we were talking about, like, the choices you make in Mass Effect 2 will affect Mass Effect 3. And they'll even reference choices that you made in Mass Effect 1. Like, it takes everything you did throughout the entire trilogy, and it will affect the story in Mass Effect 3. And I thought that was just simply awesome. Now, like, the game, graphically, it looks amazing. Like I said in the last podcast, these characters look just as good as if you were watching maybe, like, a CGI film or playing, like, Heavy Rain. They just look awesome. The voice acting, it's on par. Oh my god, the music in this game, I simply love the music. Like, if I ever find, like a CD soundtrack, I'm definitely getting the music for this game. The only thing I really find pissing me off about this game, and for those who've beaten the game already may agree with me, they may not agree with me, the very last mission, oh my fucking god, that thing was so goddamn long, it literally pissed me off. Like, the game was fucking amazing, but the last final mission, it's just so long, and I actually kind of found it a little bit boring. I don't want to say anything, because, people might, I don't want to spoil anything, people might still be playing it, but the ending, this is what I find weird, the ending of the game, a lot of people seem to dislike the ending, and there's actually a petition going around right now to have BioWare change the ending to Mass Effect 3. Which is like, I don't understand, because I love the ending. I thought it was great. But I don't know why people like saying they didn't like the ending. I thought it was awesome. But
Yeah.
I definitely recommend Mass Effect 3. It's the best game in the trilogy, and, it's simply awesome. Like, you can even just, it's really beneficial if you play Mass Effect 1 and 2, but you can just pick it up and play the third one and still just enjoy it. It's a great game, in my opinion. So,
I want to pick that up. I love Mass Effect 1 and 2.
it's a beautiful game. Like, they even have a hardcover art book that they're selling on Amazon, and I really want to get that. It's like $26, I believe, and I've seen pictures of it. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, dude. I'm serious.
Yeah, to see all those, kind of concept art for all the sci-fi worlds and all that, and the alien races would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to get the art book. If they make a soundtrack, I definitely want to get that. I can't say anything bad about the game except for that last final mission, which I just found really long and tedious. But other than that, I've been playing. I picked up this game very cheaply used on eBay, and that's the Street Fighter X Tekken for the Xbox 360. And this is so much better than Super Street Fighter 4, the arcade edition. I've been playing it for about, I don't know, roughly like 5 or 6 hours, and it's awesome. It's like, it takes what Super Street Fighter 4 had and maybe just doubles the fun. It adds, the way you play the game is you pick 2 characters, and if one of those characters dies, that's it, you lose the fight, and you go into the next round. And the Street Fighter characters, they're the same. Like, if you played Street Fighter 4, you know exactly what you're doing. The Tekken characters surprisingly work very well with the Street Fighter characters. Not a lot of them have, projectiles, but that really doesn't hurt them at all, because they have ways to, get in close to the Street Fighter characters and do some real massive damage. I played a little bit online with Tim, aka Jumbo Junkie. We actually did a team where he controlled one character and I controlled another one, and we actually got our asses kicked. It was kind of funny, but we were just having a great time playing the game. I played the arcade mode a little bit today, and the story is not really anything special about it. It's something about a meteor crashing down to Earth, and the Street Fighter characters and the Tekken characters are after this meteorite or something like that. You could throw away the story, it really doesn't matter. But the best mode I found in the entire game is this mode called Scramble Battle. And basically, the best way to describe it is take Smash Brothers and put in Tekken and Street Fighter characters, where you have 4 characters on the screen at one time, and you're just going freaking nuts. Hadoukens are flying around, Sonic Booms are going crazy, everyone's jump kicking, sweeping, it's basically just picture Smash Bros. With Street Fighter characters. It's that fun. It's definitely a party mode in the game, and it's going to be my favorite mode in the game so far. I could see playing this mode for hours. So, if you guys are ever, I don't know, you guys are not really into fighters all that much, but I recommend this game. I know, kind of like last episode, I kind of, bashed the whole DLC thing about this game, and granted, I'm going to pick up all the characters for this game, because it's an amazing game. I don't really want to pay for the characters, but, it's just an amazing game. I have to get all the characters for this game. But, I don't know what else to say about it. So
I'm a huge fighter fan. I love 2D fighters. They're so good.
that's what this is. It's strictly 2D fighting. And the other one that's coming out, I don't know when, the Tekken Cross Street Fighter, that's
Right.
going to be 3D, like in the Tekken style. So
This is a game I definitely plan on picking up, but I'm waiting for the Vita version to come out.
oh, you know what? I'm with you, dude, because this game is probably the one game that'll get me to buy the Vita.
Right. I mean, that, and I might pick up the PS3 version as well, just because the crossplay and the extra characters and stuff like that. Like, you're going to be able to play as Cole McGrath from Infamous,
Yep.
which I think is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Vita version and the PS3 version will be cross-platform. Like, you could play people on the Vita who are playing on the PS3.
Which will be really cool, because that way my wife and I will be able to actually play each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could be somewhere else and she can be downstairs, you know, because I don't always want to be next to her. But
It's a cool game. Like, I think when this game comes out for the Vita, I might just throw down my money and buy a fucking Vita just for this game.
I think the Vita is going to be a big powerhouse for fighting games.
It looks like, well, even Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that looks good on it, you know?
From what I hear, it's damn near a straight port, and it plays amazingly.
Yeah, and that has the same thing, too, the cross-platform. You could play people on the PS3.
Right. And then they've got, you know, Blaze Blues on it.
I never really got in the Blaze Blue series, but I might check it out. You know, right now I'm in this huge fighting like mode right now. Like, I even want to pick up a fight stick just for Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Oh God, I'll sell you a couple. I got too many.
Oh, really? Well, yeah.
I've got 5.
Dude, well, if you got a good one for the 360, throw me an offer and I might get it off you.
It's one of those deals. I don't want to, but I should. You know what I mean? I've got 2 for the 360, 2 for the PS3, then I've got my Wii.
Well, let me know how much you want for one of them, and I might just get that off you. So.
I'll hit you up, man. I'll hit you up.
Okay. And now, like, I got the game for the 360, but I actually went on the PS3, and I did download Mega Man and Pac-Man because they are free right now.
Oh no shit! Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Holy shit, hold on.
Yeah, and the Vita and the PS3 version you can play as Mega Man and Pac-Man, and if you go on the PS3 store right now, you can download both those characters because they're in like a double combo thing. You can download them for free. Now, I don't have the game for the PS3, but if I ever pick it up, I'll have those characters right away. But like I said, I can't say anything bad about this game. Actually, no, I can say something bad about this game. There actually was some times during online play where the sound actually cuts out.
Oh, yeah. I watch a guy, most people know who he is, Rudy, that plays fighting games. Yeah, he was having a lot of problems with the sound.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can find. Yeah, the only thing that's kind of bad about this game is that the sound does cut out during online play, especially when I was playing that scramble battle. Probably because it was like 4 people playing at once on the same screen. But all in all, it's a great game. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
And the very last game I've been playing is a retro game for the Super Nintendo. And I picked this up. I got this in the mail yesterday. And that's Top Gear 3000. It's a very cool racing game. I mentioned it before on this podcast. Basically, it's this futuristic car racing game, and you just, you race, you try to get first place, you get all these different credits depending on what you score for the final, like, ranking of each race, and you use that to upgrade your car, and you just race. Like, I know it sounds very simple and stuff like that, but it's really addicting, and this is one of the games I used to play a lot when I was a kid. I spent summers playing this game with my friends, and it's a beautiful game. I recommend this game if you guys have not tried it. It's an amazing game. I know I keep just using the word amazing, but it's that great. But
That's awesome.
like, I know, like, Dan, you play like Top Gear
I have.
Haven't you?
Yeah, I have Top Gear on the Super Nintendo, the original one. Love it.
Yeah, this is like, I think it's like the third one in the series. But,
Oh, and I have Top Gear on the Game Boy Color too, which is actually a really good port of Top Gear.
yeah, it's a great series. Like I said, it's a futuristic car game where you race on these racetracks that are on different planets, and you actually can tell you're on like different planets. Like the sky will be black on one of them, the sky will be blue on another one, the ground will be like purple on one. It's just cool. And there are like different power-ups in the game. There's ramps you can go off of where you can collect these different you can collect like boost power-ups. You can collect extra credits on the track. You know, credits are like, you know, money. And there's like these different like tiles on the tracks. So like you got these red tiles that will refill your fuel, because you do run out of fuel in this game. If you run out of fuel, you'll basically going 20 miles an hour while everyone else is going like 200 miles an hour. There's like this blue tile which refills your armor, because you can get armor damage in the game, and if you take too much damage, you're out of the race. And the last tile, which is a green tile, which actually warps you ahead to like a designated spot in the on the racetrack. So it's a great game. You can get, I got it really cheap on eBay for about $10. So I recommend, if you guys are into racing games, especially retro ones, pick this one up.
Cool, man.
And that's about it. That's all the games I've been playing. You guys want to get into questions?
Sure.
Alright.
Let's do it.
Techno, you want to do your question thingy?
Oh my goodness.
You don't have to. I know you love to do it, but there's...
I know.
Alright.
Because you know what time it is, don't you?
No.
I would think
No?
it'd be questions.
Well, yeah, it's question time!
Beautiful.
I fucking hate that. I really do. But I know you love it. Alright, first question comes from Chad Smith. Actually, this one's kind of just for Dan. He says, what are your thoughts on Tales of Grace?
I don't have any thoughts because I'm staring the game brand new at. Like, it's just teasing me right now. I'm dying to play this game. Pretty much after a podcast I have. Tales of Grace is up, brand new, ready to play it. And if you don't know, it's got absolutely gorgeous artwork on the front cover, because they don't do this for a lot of Japanese RPGs, but they actually kept the Japanese artwork for the first time for like an English version of the game, so it's got gorgeous artwork. But I know Tales of Grace is, because the Tales series is very odd. Like, they're always a new story, they're always new characters, but some of them are very like dark and, you know, its themes, and some are like really cheery and upbeat. And Graces is definitely one of those cheery and upbeat Tales of games.
It
because
looks colorful.
yeah, it's based off a Wii game, and think about it, you know, a lot of the Wii games are cheery and upbeat, you know, a little more friendly. So it is based off a Wii game. It's updated, added content, port of it, but it's still a fantastic game in the series. I've heard it's one of the better in the series, and I'm definitely just curious. I want to see how this holds up to like Tales of Vesperia. Everything I've seen from it, it looks absolutely gorgeous on the PS3. And I heard the battle system is catching people off guard on this one. I've heard the battle system is probably the most complex battle system so far in a Tales of game. Not that it's complex to learn, but they've added subtle little tweaks to the system that really change the battle system. Basically, it tweaks it to where the user can't do certain things. Like, in the other Tales of games, you could like probably like Vesperia, you can like run around in circles, like dodge enemies and stuff like that. Well, in this one, they kind of have like, you know, like dodging mechanics to make you like actually fight these enemies, engage them. And the over limit system is a little more complex and in depth. Like, you can't really spam moves per se like another one. And like in Vesperia, you could go over limit and spam the same art over and over and over and over for a limited amount of time. So they tweaked it to like stop you from like doing certain little, you know, kind of spam moves in the game. They really kind of hit that battle system and made it a lot more in-depth and intuitive. Like, they're really trying to make you engage these enemies and really fight the enemies. The battle system, I played it already. I played the Japanese version like a couple months ago, the demo, just to try out the battle system, because I heard it was different. I love the battle system from what I played. I thought it was amazing. But I'm super excited for it. It's definitely one of the more friendly, cheery, upbeat Tales of games. The characters seem really interesting. I'm definitely really excited. I guess the final judgment will be when I beat this game, and I could tell you guys if I like it more than Vesperia. It's got a lot of high hopes to live up to, though. And
Now,
if I'm
I'm
let
sorry.
down, I'll be sad.
Now, but like before we started recording, I actually saw a review on this game, and they gave it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Whoever that is doesn't
Well-
play RPGs.
Well, so far I have to agree with you on the visuals. They look really good, and I kind of want to pick up this game just for the visuals alone, because I'm trying to build up my PS3 collection, and I want to pick this up just from the visuals.
Was it from IGN?
Game trailers.
Oh god, I don't trust game trailers at all. I mean, all these like websites, I mean, they give like RPG reviews to people who play first-person shooters and like vice versa. Like they don't know how
Well,
to do this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They gave it a 6.5, but I'm still I still want to pick up this game anyway, just because the visuals look cool. And that girl Sophie, she actually seemed kind of funny to me.
The main character is really cool in this one too. And the story's interesting. The interesting thing is that if you do want this game, get it soon. In some cases, this might be rarer than Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS. Reason being is, and reason I bought this game day one, is this is kind of like a, how do we say this? Like, this is kind of like a last stand for Tales of fans. This is probably, could questionably be the last Tales of console game. Bandai Namco tried this. That's what Tales of Vesperia is. That was a test for the American audience to see how a Tales of game would translate to a console. And Vesperia bombed in America and North America. And it didn't sell too well in Japan, sadly. But it absolutely bombed in America. That's why you can still get it brand new for $20. And if you haven't, that's absurd. But this is like their last straw. Like, Bandai Namco even said themselves, we don't want to release this game in North America. But the fans are so dedicated. The Tales of fans are some of the most dedicated fans you will find for RPGs. Because it's a very niche RPG series. It doesn't get shown a lot of love. When people talk about great RPG series, they always seem to leave out Tales of because just people aren't aware of them. They don't play them. But it's the last stand, and the great thing is, pre-orders were through the roof for this game, so it's really good to see that so many people support this game, and really, like, I'll be playing this game, but I'll be thinking about the true predecessor to Vesperia, which is Tales of Ilia, which is a PS3 exclusive Tales of game. This one's based off of Wii one, but Tales of Ilia was, after Vesperia, the next, like, HD console version after that. And Tales of Ilia looks incredible. That one's a little more, actually, that one looks to be one of the darkest, like, Tales of games in its, like, themes, but this is kind of a last stand. I mean, Bandai Namco's a company that doesn't like to take chances too much, because they know the fans will love it. The fans will buy it day one. But past that, casual people will never be aware of these games. They'll never buy them. And they always seem to get burned when they bring out Tales of games in North America. So this is that last stand. They said it themselves, like, we didn't want to bring this game out, but the fans wanted it. So it did get great pre-orders, so here's hoping that Bandai Namco continues to bring Tales of games over. Because they said after Vesperia, like, oh, we don't plan on bringing out any more Tales of games to the States, and that upset a lot of people, but we got this, and everyone supported it, which is fantastic, so I cannot wait to play this. Yeah.
Yeah.
This artwork is gorgeous, too, on this cover. Oh, it's a Japanese artwork. How often do they keep Japanese artwork for an English game? I love it.
Alright, so yeah, our next question is from Brent. He asks, favorite generation and why?
Or does that mean
Genesis? Yeah, like Genesis,
Like
Super Nintendo.
16-bit.
Yeah, like
16-bit.
Yeah, modern.
No, I meant he put favorite gen, and I was trying to make a joke. Damn it!
Backfired.
Cool story, brah. Cool story.
Flew right over my head.
It's not working.
Alright, for me, I'm gonna say the 8-bit with the NES, the original NES. It's basically what I grew up with. there are some bad games for the NES, but there's some real great gems on the NES. It's what I grew up with. It's first console I ever played, ever saw. Hands down, it's basically pure nostalgia for me.
Yay. No. For me, it's definitely the 16-bit era with the Super Nintendo. The first system I actually ever had and played was the NES, but I only had it for like a year or so, and I played it and enjoyed it, but I was jealous of my brother at the time who had the Super Nintendo. I'm like, man, this looks so cool. It's a huge improvement over what I'm playing, but I like what I had because I was playing awesome games like Mario Bros. 3, Adventure Island. Like, I had all the classics for the NES, but the Super Nintendo, oh my god, like once I got that, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Mario RPG, Uniracers, the list goes on and on. Absolutely love the 16-bit era. I love the music of the 16-bit era. I think it's incredible. It was just a great era for me. And that really, really got me into gaming was the Super Nintendo. What about you, Techno?
It's not Dreamcast era. I know, shocker. Has to be 16-bit with the Genesis. Oh man, the memories.
Yeah, I have so many memories.
Man, I have a picture of me during my, I think, 7th or 8th birthday and unwrapping Sonic 3. I was like, yes! It was awesome. Yeah.
What about you, Cody?
By far, the 16-bit era. Between the Genesis, the TurboGrafx, the Super Nintendo, I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. On top of that, 2D visuals were absolutely stunning this generation. Fantastic. The sprites, the artwork, everything just looked beautiful. You had tons of great side-scrolling platformers, plus all the shmups. I mean, I'm a shmup guy, so the 16-bit era, man, that's where it was at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Our next question is from Mikey Monarch, and he simply asks, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Mine's green.
Purple.
I don't think they consider it a color. They don't consider white or black, right?
It's a color.
Black is the absence of color, and white is the absorption of all color.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. They're colors. Pick one.
Black, green. I like black and green.
Purple all the way.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Next question is from... Tempest. And he has two questions. The first question is, do you think that you'll sink more time into Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS more than Mario Kart 7?
Not if it sucks.
No, I could just straight out say it, and there's no way. I'm not even going to buy the game day one, but the online play will probably be fun casually, but it's not going to be as addicting as Mario Kart. I highly doubt it.
I have to disagree with you. I respectfully disagree with you. I got 200 hours into Mario Kart, but Kid Icarus, this has something that the Mario Kart will not have. It has the introduction of those AR cards, and I actually have one of those AR cards that came in the Game Informer, and I'm pretty sure these cards are gonna be just as freaking popular as Skyland is, because there's exclusive cards for like Nintendo Power, Nintendo World, Club Nintendo, Game Informer. They're actually giving out exclusive packs at PAX East, and I'll be picking up as much as I can when I go there. I know Holly was telling me that they're giving out exclusive packs at Best Buy in Canada. You know, these AR cards are going to make this game have so much replayability, it's not even funny. So I could easily see putting a lot of time into this game. 200 hours, I have no freaking idea. But I know it's going to be fun and addicting in a good way.
Yeah, I don't buy into the AR cards.
Well, it's different people, different opinions. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Techno, Cody?
I no longer have a 3DS, so I could really care less about Kid Icarus. No, not really. I actually saw a commercial today at dinner on the TV about Kid Icarus, and it looks like a blast. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
For me, though, man, Nintendo handhelds are all about Mario Kart. For me personally. So much fun. They're so addicting, and that's literally what I put all my time into when I'm playing a Nintendo handheld. So I don't know. I think, of course, I didn't know all about these AR cards. I just got that first one in the Game Informer the other day as well. But whether it'll catch on like Skylanders, I don't think so. Just because the availability of Skylanders, they keep coming out with new ones, and they're more accessible, even though you got your hoarders out there who are taking all of them.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily having to go out and get special magazines or go into conventions and stuff like that. So I don't think the AR cards are going to catch on like Skylanders has. I think it's a cool concept. I mean, I think it's really neat. But when you think about it, if it catches on, they could probably just do a downloadable patch for like Mario Kart or something like that. Or at least I would assume the 3DS has that capability. I'm not 100% sure there.
Probably in the future, yeah. What about you, Techno? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played a demo or nothing. If it grips me, then yeah, probably. But because I'm kind of getting sick of Mario Kart 7.
Boo.
Yeah.
I don't even have the game, and I'm booing you.
Shit. I'm playing something better.
What are you playing better?
Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah. Alright, moving on. Our second question from Tempest. He asked, "What are you getting, or have you already gotten any of the Game Gear games that are available on the 3DS eShop?"
Didn't even know they were available.
What are you talking about?
Okay, they just came out today.
What are the games? Do you know?
I know one of them is Sonic Triple Trouble, which is the one I'm interested in. I have not downloaded it yet, but that's the only game I'm looking forward to buying. While I'm powering on my 3DS, and I'll tell you the other games right now.
Shinobi and Dragon Crystal.
Yep, there you go. Shinobi and Dragon.
Oh my God. Oh yes.
Oh, snap.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you want to be alone with your 3DS?
Do you need some alone time?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh.
Take it easy.
What Shinobi? I guess Shinobi. I forget the name of it.
It just says Shinobi.
Shit.
Game Gear.
Because there's, I think, 2 on the Game Gear, and like, it plays kind of like Mega Man in a way, I think. And like you, once you get done with one level, you switch to a different Shinobi, that like a different colored Shinobi, and has different like a one can jump higher than the other or something.
Cool. So, what about you, Dan? You getting any of the Game Gear games?
Nope. I really don't have a huge interest in the Virtual Console on the 3DS. And usually, like, it's just so much easier to go out and buy a Game Gear and some of these games. I'd rather do that, and it's more fun to me. And for some of the prices of, like, Game Boy games on there, it's like I can get the same game physical copy, and I'd just rather have a physical copy at the end of the day. But I think it's cool that they're making, that available, because there's so many people who probably have no idea what a Game Gear is. So I think that's true. I mean, everyone played Game Boy,
No.
not everyone played Game Gear, so
Yeah.
it's exposing a new crowd.
And Cody, since you don't have a 3DS, not getting any.
Definitely not getting it. Well, that, and I've already got Game Gears, and I've got
I don't
most of those
know.
games already.
Yeah.
Just like Dan, I really like the idea, but I never did buy any on the Wii shop either.
Yeah.
It's just so much. It's because these games are dirt cheap. I mean, you can get most of your Game Gear games for less than $5 anyhow. I think it'd be cool. I like what PSN's doing and bringing over TurboGrafx games. I mean, bring out some more of those obscure systems that you just don't find out in the wild every day. Not a lot of people know about, but
Yeah, the GG Shinobi is $3.99, and Sonic Triple Trouble is $4.99.
damn.
Yeah, I know it's.
Damn.
Oh, God, fuck you, Nintendo.
Go on eBay, get that game. Same
Yeah.
price.
Well, see,
joke.
I don't have a Game Gear.
Buy one.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
Game
that
Gears are
expensive.
so cheap, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
they're
you're the
cheap.
you're the Sega guy, and you don't have a Game
Oh
Gear,
my god.
I
Come on.
never had one.
dude.
Dude, I told you I'd sell you one for like $10.
There you go.
No, you didn't.
I did too.
No,
You said you were interested in it and never got back with me.
How dare you?
I don't remember that.
You bastard.
Do you still have it?
Well, yeah.
Well, then I'll buy it.
I'll buy it from you right now.
All right,
We'll talk about it later.
after the podcast, guys.
Willing deal.
Everybody should have a Game Gear.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all our questions. So, I'd like to thank everyone who's asked a question. So, thank you.
Thanks, guys and gals.
Keep them coming.
There were no gals, but
Yeah.
Not that you know.
true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So, you guys want to end the podcast? Call it a night?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Sure.
All right. So that was episode 28.
I believe so.
Yep, episode 28 of the Press Start podcast, and we want to thank our guest, Mr. DoDonRaiden, or DonDonRaiden,
DoDonRaiden.
Bastard.
DoDonRaiden,
Yeah,
whatever.
thanks for having me on again, guys.
And why don't you tell everyone where they can find you and plug your podcast one more time?
You can find me on Twitter at DonDonRaiden, on Facebook, DonDonRaiden, on YouTube at DoDonRaiden. And obviously the podcast is called the Binary Piecast. You can check it out on Google, search it up. You can find the website for it, or you can just check us out on iTunes, search for the Binary Piecast. We're up there, as well as Stitcher Radio. If you don't know what Stitcher Radio is, go check it out. You can just stream it from the website, or you can download the Stitcher Radio app on your smartphones and listen to it in all of its glory there.
Awesome. And guys, it's a really good podcast. I really enjoy it. So
Yep.
And keep in mind, man, when we're talking about a lot of our games, they're not just PC games. They're games for all platforms.
Yeah.
So don't let it scare you.
right on. And let's see, you can find me on YouTube as QuickFreeze4. You could also find me on Facebook as QuickFreeze's Game Room. And that's about it. Where can they find you, Techno?
They can find me on YouTube under MrTechnoSqueek. Remember the 2 E's. And you can find me on Twitter under the same name. And I do have a Facebook. A lot of people have been adding me on Facebook. Yeah, if you don't know my name, it's Derek. Just
Wait a
you
minute.
can-
Whoa.
what?
You have a first name? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't. A lot of people call me by Techno or Kimpy because, yeah, dude, like that was my high school nickname. But yeah, Derek Kemp on Facebook, and yeah, that is it for me.
What about you, Dan? Where can they find you?
They can find me at youtube.com/nostalgicdan1, and I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, I'm Nostalgic Dan, and on Facebook, I have a page, and it's Nostalgic Dan. And I also have a Twitch.tv channel, which I need to get into using more, but I will, because I definitely figured out some new setups. And that's twitch.tv/nostalgicdan. And that's pretty much it.
Cool. And for this podcast, as always, you can find it on YouTube as the Press Start Pod. You can find us there, and you can also ask us questions there. If you're listening to that, just leave a comment below. If not, you could always email us at pressstartpod@gmail.com. Ask us questions that way. We do take audio questions. We haven't had one for a while, so please do that. And we are also on the averagegamershow.com. You could either stream it or download each episode from there. And we're also on iTunes, so go to iTunes, give us 5-star review, really helps us out. And that's about it.
And we also have a twitch.tv for the Press Start Podcast whenever we do future live shows, which we did for episode 25. So definitely go there and follow that, and maybe from here on out we'll just do casual, random live shows. So if you follow, you'll be notified.
Which are awesome. I hope you guys do more of those.
Oh, really? Were you there?
No, I didn't get to make yours, but live shows in general are just awesome.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do more.
Oh yeah, dude. Anytime anybody's hopping online to stream games or just stream the chat about games or anything like that, I'm always trying to hop in there.
Cool. But that's it, you guys. Let's say goodbye and call it a night.
Bye,
Goodbye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Good night.
Later.